All right, we're here to talk about Atlas. New and possibly improved from last time I brought him out. New for a build video, anyways. Last time he just debuted in Fashion Frame and some roulette streams. Anyways, we will be on to the build in just a second here. As always, if you want to stay tuned and update, remember to like, follow, and subscribe. But feel free to decide that till later on in the video as well. Either way, it's always appreciated, and we will see you over in the simulacrum. All right, so here we are in the one of the new simulacrums. So yeah, I have a long history with Atlas. Atlas was my main for a significantly long time. I think I can see it in here, right? Yes, you can see Atlas up here, and then regular Atlas is just down here. Um, like many newbie Tendo, I immediately bought a Warframe, and uh, I have a long history in other games. Path of Exile, I played Templar, I think it's called. I also had a Shadow who was like a shield tank, summoner dude. I play summoner tanks, same need, so I had a sorcerer, very much did the same thing. So yeah, Atlas drew into me. Little did I, as a newbie, realize that summons are garbage in Warframe, and tanks, in the most proper sense of the word we're thinking of, do not exist. Uh, with rare exceptions, there's no great way to pull aggro, and you can't really just absorb damage for your team. It's just not a role. It's not how the game functions. There's a couple ways to kind of gimmick it into existence, but it still doesn't really accomplish much because most of the stuff you would be tanking is actually giant AoE attacks. Uh, anyways, so yeah, that's my history with Atlas. Now, Atlas is not a complicated Warframe, at least in the way that anyone's going to generally play him. We got some non-steel paths here. Uh, Usually with Atlas, you're going to see a lot of this. Yeah, so that's what Atlas is known for. The big tricky thing about that, which we'll get into in a second, is you need what's called a stat stick, because that ability does not function in, a sane, logical way that a new person would understand. It's one of the reasons I stopped being an Atlas main for a while, was I couldn't kill things with it anymore and had no idea why. Atlas's second ability, not often seen, is Tectonics. You make a little wall. This has some applications. They're very niche. You can also petrify it with his third ability. That'll heal it and add a bunch of reinforced health. You can put this in front of mobile defense consoles. During the dusty and forgotten, never to return event Scarlet Spear, you could actually encase the entire beacon thing you had to defend inside of that hitbox, which was neat. But yeah, generally don't see a whole lot of that one being used. One thing it can do, which a lot of people overlook, is you want to put a couple of guys in the same spot. uh, it does have a problem with that, the same as Hydroids 2 before they reworked it. It tends to explode them kind of around rather than gathering them in one place. But you can use it to roll guys down hallways into Netra cells or wherever you want them if you particularly need to. This is also much stronger than a lot of people give it credit for. I've literally managed to stay behind this thing and shield myself from the Void Rig's exalted weapons in the Sanctum Anatomica during Deep Archimedia and Netra cells. His third is called Petrify. Let me bring up a fresh squad of dudes. Petrify very basically does what it says on the tin. You look at some dudes and somehow I didn't pick up the energy. Yeah, look at dudes and they turn to stone. Besides crowd control, this gives a boost to your 1 when you hit them and causes them to drop rubble. Which is a good time to talk about Rubble. Rubble is part of Atlas's passive. You can see it down the bottom right. You pick it up and it will either heal you if your health is damaged, including as if it's as low as 1 HP down, it will heal you instead of giving you Rubble armor. Or it gives you a flat additional value to your armor. It caps out at 1500, which multiplies your effective health by something like 7 times, if I remember right. 7.5, something like that. A lot, we'll say. Combined with his natural armor, the Rubble armor is enough to get to damage reduction 90 or higher very easily. Biggest problem with Rubble is you can kind of tell it's decaying pretty faster. If you get near Nullifier, it will go down like nothing. The aforementioned thing I mentioned, if you're so much as 1 HP down, it will heal you instead of giving you armor. And it's a lot of work to keep that buff up compared to Grendel just eating 5 guys. That's his version. Gives him the identical armor boost. It's one of those things where Atlas requires a whole lot of effort and other people don't. Corvex just has that armor walking around, all that sort of stuff. And Atlas's 4th. This is not Atlas's 4th, that's Styanax's 2 that's been helmet on. Let me see if I've got one that is still on. The reason you have helmet, the reason I don't have Atlas's 4th is because it's not good. It is his summons, depending on whether you count the wall as a summon. When you cast his 4, you'll get a AoE version of petrifying a circle around you. That's probably the most useful part of it. Then you'll get these dudes. They will eventually batter this guy because he's been viral primed by my companion. This is one of the lowest HP targets in the game. But yeah. They technically are crowd control. Anyways, when it ends, or when they get killed, they'll blow up and they'll drop 2 piles of rubble for you. If you want to spam energy pizzas like a madman, you can use that to get your armor up, but generally find it kind of useless. This thing is the more useful thing. As the AoE Petrify goes, I mean, if I find myself in here, I can just roll and shoot that one instead. It costs less energy too. And Atlas's real passive, because the Rubble thing's not really passive, you have to cast abilities, generally speaking, to do it, is if he's touching the ground, he can't be knocked over or anything like that. There are a few enemies that cheat and hit you with a wave that bounces you off the ground and hits you again to knock you down. Fun little japes that they are. But generally speaking, he cannot be knocked over as long as he's on the ground. Anyways, go back to this one called Bowling, I think, because of the tectonics. This is our Atlas build. Sorry, still getting over a thing here. You can see Atlas punches stuff, does a lot of melee. Thereby, we've just kind of thrown that in. You could very easily, I'd say, swap that for other things. Dreamer's Bond, wherever I put it, honestly wouldn't be too bad on him. The one that they gave it to everyone for free. It just might make the energy a little tight. I don't know, it still works. Because, yeah, the other one, for various reasons, doesn't give him all that much utility. That will help keep his energy up and his health up, so you don't get that little thing where it's trying to heal chip damage with your Rebel. Speed Drift, that's just there for some casting speed. That's mostly on this one. It's kind of slow going off if you don't modify it. And he doesn't need anything else in that Exo slot particularly. You can see we got the 3 Umbrals. If you don't have 3 Umbrals, don't worry. Use the regular versions. And then Augur Secrets. Hunter Adrenaline. If he does take health damage, he shouldn't for the most part. We'll give him some energy back. So generally he's got enough health that he'll get his energy back and start being invincible again. Because I don't know if I mentioned it. I may have overlooked it. When he punches a dude with his wand. He's invulnerable. So as long as you've got enemies to punch, you're going to be near constantly invulnerable. It's like having a rolling guard that does millions of damage. And if there's no enemies to punch, well, you don't need to be invincible, do you? Alright, we got Archon Flow. I think that's a leftover. It should just be Prime Flow. For a while there, I was experimenting with cold on his landslide, which I'll get to in a second. And that was just an extra energy orb every now and then. We got a couple of augments. Path of Statues. You leave a trail behind that petrifies enemies. That means guys who are chasing behind you or that you would need more than one punch to take down will get petrified because they're touching a trail that you're leaving at your feet. Rubble Heap. If you do happen to get up to 1400 rubble, the suddenly landslide costs no more energy and deals twice the damage. Not much to say there. That's one of those other ways to get things petrified when you don't want to do this. So stat sticks. So things like Landslide and a couple of other abilities in the game, they're very old versions of exalted weapons, essentially. They aren't actually moddable on themselves. They copy things from your melee mod. The problem with exalted weapons is you can look at that and you have no idea what the stats of his punch are going to be at all. It is entirely impact damage, that part's true. But it also has a very low crit chance and a very low status chance. So if you look at here, these are the mods we're attempting to apply to it. You might be confused, because these don't make sense to apply with a low crit chance. The Incarnate weapon, and the two best to use this are the Ack and Brunt, which I use for style more than anything, or the Ceramic Dagger, has this. That increases a base critical chance, so it takes that 5% and turns it into a 22%. Still not great, but it is a thing. And you can also there's a couple of variations here. I just went for crit, because I don't care so much about the status. Even though I have modded a status on there, it goes off on rare occasion. So a lot of this doesn't really matter. It's a fairly effective Ack and Brunt build by itself. The critical multiplier I'll explain in a second. Oh, hi, future chef here. Future Seth here, not chef. Let him cook. Archon shards. Yeah, remember I mentioned the crit chance was being super buffed? This is woefully unnecessary. Honestly, you might get more out of giving him energy. The one for health turns to energy and that sort of thing.
Ordis wonders.
Then all these, or just straight red shards.
Everyone has to be somewhere.
He's a pretty open book as far as shards go. You could give him parkour speed with yellow ones too, so he can get around quicker. And yeah, this is part of mimetic stupidity in making giant big numbers. I've used him. You can find in the Netracell Roulette videos and everything without all these fancy purple things and the mega crits, and it honestly works just about as well. That probably pushes him up higher on a level cap scenario than he would otherwise go, but that's about it. And have a good one. What's going on there? So yeah, primed heavy trauma. If you don't have it, there's the collision force over here. And there's actually two impact mods for melee, which are weird. The other one is regular heavy trauma. Either one of those goes in there. This is for our critical, because we modded that base up from 5 up to about 20. This will then change that up to about half them being crits. Then we got critical damage. This is our regular melee damage, which is boosting steel, more critical damage. This is modded for blast currently. You can mod it for viral if you want. It's not necessary, generally speaking. It won't go off frequently enough, and you're better off having a companion prime it more frequently for you if you really feel you need it. Cold will give you some crowd control, and he does do AoE with his punches, so anything that's not dying will get slowed down and be less generally dangerous, more to the rest of your team than to you. We've got blast in here because blast, when you kill the little guys, if they do get the blast proc on them, they will blow up and deal more damage to the big guys who might be somehow standing up to you. And then we've just got a generally boosted status chance as well, because there's only so many slots you can put in here before it becomes redundant. Melee crescendo, you'll trigger a lot of pair zones on things like Xmas or heavy gunners that maybe don't die in the first hit. You often punch them and get straight to their mercy kill, and you can stack up initial combo that will very quickly add a ton of damage because it will build up to 12 times in the bottom right there, and because it's initial combo and Atlas isn't doing anything to reduce it, it will just stay there for you. So yeah, it's not too much. Got my other guns on here. That's a Corinth. If you don't have a ribbon there, I believe it's just a multi-shot mod you put in, Vigilante Armaments. These are my static cores. Nothing too special about them either, but there you go. I think that's the same one I used on Ember. We're very close. That's Atlas in a nutshell. The modding of the stat stick is really the most complicated. It would be really nice if people like Atlas could get a rework. See, the problem with Atlas is he works. I can go turn these dudes up into super mega steel path badasses. And we'll throw an armor battle group. Why not? Even as I did in the Banshee video, we'll make it sporting. Sportsmanship. The thing is, as long as Atlas can do that, it's not going to get a rework. Despite the fact that his entire utility is concentrated in one thing, half of his kit, then his synergy means nothing. See, the thing with Rebel Armor is you also don't really get hit, because you're always invulnerable. Look at that Scorpion go. The Molt Reconstructor is what's healing me, if you were wondering. Just in the bottom there. There we go. Does have a tendency to throw guys around. One fun little bug with Atlas is when he throws guys around, if you try and target them while they're on the ground, like this one, you can't. Same if they're being held by Hydroid and a handful of other situations. That bug's not unique to Atlas. You can also see it in my enemy gathering video. When I try and use the photon repeater with Bobbin, it just refuses to target some of the guys in the vortexes. And if the level's open enough, you do get a little bit of that. Guys just ending up in random spots. Could be a little annoying. Anyways, that's Atlas, short and simple. We got a Netracell gameplay coming up after this. But if you don't want to hang out for that, because you don't really need the proof of concept, watching me punch things for 10 minutes, then just feel free to leave like, subscribe, comment, and share. Helps the channel out a lot. Try and get those subscribers gained so I can actually get monetized. And I will see you in the next one, which I'm currently thinking to be Corvex. I'm undecided on that though, so if you have any thoughts, just let me know which frame I should do. Just try and have a look at the channel and make sure it's not something I've already done. There should be a playlist in the description with all the Warframe builds I have already done. And thanks for checking out the video, and I will see you in the next one. Alright, so we're just dropping, we're going to do a Netracell, just because it happened to be Netracell day when I recorded this. Oh. There we go. Fair warning, this is not going to be riveting gameplay by any means.
Netracell is hidden somewhere in these labs. Sniff it out yourself or get control of terminals. They'll tell you where it
is. Normally I'd go looking around enemies that literally are not damaging us enough to trigger my hunter adrenaline. This Jade Xmas are probably the one thing in here that could be kind of annoying. Remember that problem where your build requires the enemies to deal damage to you? I swear at some point we will use an Atlas ability. Promise. Corinth, I think, is on the Ron build. Corinth should be able to delete these things, there's no problem. Specifically look for these while I'm recording, but that one was right there. Yes, at some point I will get to enough energy because something will actually damage me. To necessitate using Atlas abilities. Just got a bunch of energy there for no apparent reason, so. Energy orbs? Nope. Congrats, it's a useless buff. Okay, I'm gonna kill you before you become a problem. Which I meant I'm gonna get stuck in Atlas' stupid bug where you can't attack things that are ragdolled. Not an Atlas specific bug. Quite annoying when he runs into it. Just in general, a lot of abilities that are supposed will like allegedly auto-target instead of being aimed. Whether it's you have to aim at a target or it's just like passively auto-targeting, will not hit things that are ragdolled. And despite 7 years of it, he hasn't fixed it yet. They're allegedly working on it, but... Oh, you're just gonna spawn those assholes. I see how it is. Problem with them is they will stack shit on you while you're punching them. So when your vulnerability comes off, you're suddenly immediately dead. Okay, case. No, that one's actually dead. So I can target him. Oh my god, I finally got some energy. Doesn't take a lot, something just has to actually hit me. not just the passive damage of mod. What the fuck is with all the Jade Xmas?
This is it. Use the key glyph and get ready for whatever happens next.
Alright.
Done. Local threats are triggering a security override. Clear out the uglies to pop the door.
Maybe we'll get enough enemy density to actually make shit work. Also a bone window here, which is interesting. They're not quite as rough as they used to be because of the armor shift. Click over here and get the incarnate in case I need it. Yeah. I used to just a lot of this. Fuck off with the Jade shit. I'm going to get hit by the blast rocks, which is on my hands, which is annoying. Because those are also affected by that whole ragdolling thing.
Something's going on with necromites. Trying to lock this thing down. Take them out. We ain't got all day.
Not sure what's preventing me from targeting him. Yeah, generally the only things that are gonna really threaten us are Xmas with auto targets like the Jades and the Leeches if they get ragdolled fire punches and can no longer be targeted by follow-up attacks. Other than that, it's just gonna be a whole lot of this.
Security level dropping. Hit them till they stop moving.
Words coming in of so many of you being your best selves. Nora is just beside herself with admiration.
If we really wanted to do something armored stuff, we can do throw one of those in. Technically use that to push guys into the Netracell, but we're solo, so that's not a huge concern.
Albrecht's damn necromites are reinforcing the
Let's
Netracell.
see, that'll send them into
Their
the
hands
room.
are tied until you knock them out.
Petrify guys, we need to make more armor, but we're doing pretty good with just path statues. I'm gonna zap a guy on the way by, get some Tenukai. Taking my Incarnate. And this is just gonna be pretty easy peasy. Barring any really weird shit happening. That's the problem with Atlas, is actually finding the targets. This might not have been totally in the room. Yeah, other than glitches making stuff untargetable, Atlas is basically invulnerable as long as he's punching. Just kind of sit on things and voila. Anyways, if you liked the video, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Yeah, that's the...
Didn't want anyone in here.
I don't know why I thought that was the wrong thing for a second. Let me know. Not actually sure what'll be the next frame. I was thinking maybe Corvex. Kind of back-to-backing things. And feel free to check the other stuff out on the channel. We should have a bunch of other reviews with stuff from Jade Shadows. And the new status as well. And some other non-Warframe content if that's your thing. And we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.